I was going to do a little voice rip. The creator economy, or mental health, or reading the internet, or making art, or thinking for yourself and living outside institutions, and the word genius and how it maybe only means polymath, which also means universal man, which also means poet, which also means being in touch with all of life's actions. No, really, I started this voice recording the way I do with a lot of other voice recordings I've done, which is about kind of money and work and not lack of identity and not doubt about identity, but the work of being original, the work of developing your inner voice and sort of making your inner voice into the universal voice. And then also you become a dual citizen of the persona, but also the administrator of the persona, right? I mean, I think any musician, any performer, you get up there on stage. I mean, it's true for painters. It's true for certain kinds of writers. You kind of get into the creating, and you become unhinged. You lose track of what you're doing. You trust your intuition and your emotions and feelings, and you sort of become infinite. You become no one. You become everyone. You become completely yourself. Now there's the person who does that, and then you step back off stage, and then you have to talk about what you did. Now it's funny to think about how artists do this as a corollary to how athletes do it. I was very intrigued by the recent news cycle of the French Open in tennis, and one of the players dropped out because they didn't want to do the media events for mental health reasons. And I think it's really funny. Funny is the wrong word. I think it's fascinating because it takes a toll on you to sort of be the administrator and the face and the representative of the persona, the crazy person, the totally demented perfectionist who is the competitor and the athlete. It's hard to do both because, being the person on the court takes a lot out of you. And it really takes mental acuity and a lot of existential flexibility to be both people, to be the one in the arena and then to be that person's representative to the media and to the rest of the world, asking, very plain questions about performance and metrics and analytics and comparisons and all that stuff that just takes the magic out of it. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going. The problem with me and my life and my work is it is in a sense never going anywhere because I'm sort of arguing for the fact that there's nowhere else to get. I don't know. Am I at war with, is it capitalism? No. Is it wealth? No. Is it personal security and safety? Maybe. Is it hierarchies? Probably. Is it patriarchy? Not exactly. I am interested in honing my own particular peculiar curiosity. And I think there's always a temptation to go to some other safety, some place to keep you safe from having to do the work only you know how to do and only you would think to do, and that only you can do and will do, right? I think a lot of people are paid well by large institutions or even clients to, I'd say, keep you from your fear, right? I think following your fear, following not only curiosity, because it's not fun, following a monster down dark hallways and trying to stab it in the back and get in front of it and cut its throat. It's not fun. And sometimes those dark hallways are miles long and they just keep going, just like freeways. And sometimes you might be going the wrong direction. So I don't know, the artistic journey, like, it's not fun. I mean, fun is not the right word. I mean, it's a duty. It's like being a soldier. And I don't know. I'm not confused by it. I'd say I'm transfixed and even annihilated by it. It changes who you are. It makes you into a different kind of person, right? And I'm really realizing sort of what the creator economy is, what an artist is. It's mostly just a temperament and a sensibility and a point of view and a way of thinking and speaking that has to do with, you have to do everything yourself. Every word of every thought and everything you say, it's never cliche. It's always being cranked out anew, and it's always a new flavor, and you never play the same thing twice, and there's no formula. I'd say there are daily habits and rituals and checklists that you do, and you have a structure to your day. Though I'd say also some people say that habit destroys art, routine destroys art. So you have to keep shaking it up and never get into one routine, and you have to break your own rules. But I mean, I think being an artist, you just have a serenity about you, right? And even in the midst of all the unrest I always feel about, well, how am I going to bring in enough money to live in an apartment in a cool city? Who do I need to tell all of this to? Who do I need to go sell to? What kind of product or service am I doing? Who's the customer? I keep going back to people like a David Bowie who says, never work for other people. You have to work for yourself and to try to please yourself and amaze yourself and surprise yourself, because every other reader and listener is ultimately just like you. Or Oscar Wilde, who said, the true artist takes no notice whatever of the public. To him, they are non-existent. Right? I know that the public, the world, the masses, it's just a lot of people like me. It's a lot of the self, and we are all the self. Now, I'm certainly not that interested in my own particular story. It's unremarkable in a way. I guess I'm asking the world, what do we do with awareness, right? And my generation has been trained on hard work all the time. And by hard work, I don't mean doing things in factories, but I mean showing up on time, paying attention, over-preparing, and executing at a high level with, knowledge work type things, tests and school, and then, the entry-level job, all, doing good work, being a good boy. And now all of a sudden we have great capacity to be a good boy every day, 12 hours a day or more, plugged in to awareness, plugged into the internet. And we need to decide what to do. And, there are great big problems that are problems for our human condition and the possibilities of us living on this planet in a habitable, sustainable way that makes us proud of who we are, and maybe it's a flaw of the human animal that we have so much pride. Maybe pride is a sin. But the older I get, the more I see that meaning is the main occupation of the mind. and meaning making and sense making pretty much rules the day. And, the only choice that doesn't destroy you is to be the leader you were born to be. Now, leadership is something I'm thoughtful about and critical of. I think power is very interesting, and what it does to people is interesting. I'm certainly wary of people who have power but don't really do the work. They can kind of they assign resources to go do it. They sort of treat the world like cells on a spreadsheet and kind of move pieces around the board. But then, of course, the trouble is one powerful man looks up from his screen and sees another powerful man who has also spent all day tinkering with spreadsheet cells, and they realize, oh, we're in a shared world, and there's only one world, but we both have our reduced versions of it that we want to reign over. So yeah, disputes between men is fascinating. One function of the writer is to be like a secretary, or a scrivener, stenographer, right? I think it's interesting to turn someone's inner life into information. I've always found that intriguing. And I think that's what the creator economy is everybody trying to turn their inner life into information, put it into a perceptible form, organize it under your own branded umbrella of content, and then kind of push it into the world and see if it can be embraced and hope that it gets viewers. But I think when everyone's doing that, I can't keep up with Instagram stories, for example, right? There's 100 people who I know who are boiling like me, who are a disaster every day, who are a suitcase with no handle, who's just a mess, kind of screeching all the time. You're like a grown-up child. You still need a lot of attention. And there's just too much to go around, right? I mean, I'm busy with my own self. Now, I don't have time to go consume someone else's, or at least 10 others, or God forbid, 25 or 50 others. And the funny thing about creating is, and expressing yourself is, just because you need to say it doesn't mean it needs to be heard. But I'd also say just because it isn't heard doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to live and keep doing it. So I don't know. Am I engaged in a war of revaluing labor, revaluing people's time, questioning what activity is rewarded, right? I mean, who's going to pay me to read? No one. Who's going to pay for stillness, right? But often stillness is the thing that people should be doing, right? People are addicted to action. I think that's why the world got so polluted, is because people couldn't just stand still, right? You can quote Blaise Pascal, who said, I think it might have been the 16th century. It's like all of humanity's problems stem from one man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone, right? Man has to do something. He has to earn his own self-esteem. And I'm starting to see that, creating on the internet, just like I'd say going to work in a workplace, it's not because the work needs to be done, right? Especially with poetry. I mean, no one's asking you to do this. But I would say companies in general, it's not that the work needs to be done. It's that those workers need to be occupied. People need an occupation for their own sense making. In general, the work does not need to be done. And actually, it would be better for everyone if we just didn't do the work. I think we're addicted to work. And yeah, I think we need to redirect effort currently spent on selling and strength and speed and accumulation, and put it into study, something gentler, something softer. But it's very hard for a tough, strong man to be proud of being soft and gentle and being like water rather than like stone. So I don't know, back to the point about being genius and being universal. I mean, I would say what a genius does is they redefine and they reframe what is possible for one life. You redefine what being 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years old is. You redefine what reading and writing and awareness and response are. I think you are hammering out what attention really is. I mean, I think attention is sort of the key to everything. Simone Weil said, pure, unmixed attention is a highest form of prayer. And it's really the greatest gift you can give someone is your undivided attention. So I don't know. I mean, labor and attention and capital, I think it's all a very interesting mix. So I don't know. That may be all I have to say today. I don't know.